everybody, my name is Ashley, creator of the Raspy Dispatcher, currently a 911 dispatcher out here in the state of California. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the big, bad, anxiety-raising, scary polygraph test. Okay, it's not that scary, but I know this is the typical reaction folks have when they hear they have to take a polygraph, and I know that because I've taken them and I've been that person. So, this video, along with the majority of the videos on my channel, are here to help relieve some of that anxiety that this process of applying to become a 911 dispatcher is gonna put you through. So here's where I do the thing where I ask you to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our videos. And of course, like this video if you find any of the information to be helpful. So I've taken 2 polygraphs in my career, so I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience as well as some research that I found online to help explain what the test is and why it gets folks' anxiety so high. So the first way to relieve any anxiety or stress going into your polygraph starts at the moment you apply for this role. In order to make the polygraph portion part simple and less stressful is you have been honest and open about your personal history from the jump. You see, if you've made it to the polygraph portion of the application process, that means you passed your initial application, an interview, and you're almost done with or have completed the background portion of this process. So you should have already told your backgrounder every little secret and transgression and underage drinking that you've indulged in. Theoretically, when you reach this portion of the process, you have nothing to hide. The polygraph is just another tool to ensure the continued communication about you and your history is truthful and honest. So here's some information I grabbed from policestudyguide.com that talks a little bit about the polygraph test and the scientific quote unquote sense of what the purpose is for it. So the polygraph is a test that is measuring a few psychological responses, including heart rate, blood pressure, perspiration, and skin conductivity. In short, you tell the truth, you're less nervous, and your body responds that way. But when you are nervous and in a heightened state and potentially lying, your body responds with increased heart rate, blood pressure, perspiration, and more. Fundamentally, the test is based on asking 2 types of questions. Relevant, which means relevant to the concerns of the examiner, such as a question like, have you ever stolen anything? And irrelevant, which are irrelevant questions to the examiner, such as, is today Tuesday? As you can see, both of these questions are yes or no questions. Now, when you are researching ways to prepare for your polygraph test, you're going to find many ways to fool the test. My suggestion is don't bother with these tricks and tips. It's just going to stress you out more. And the examiner has a way of recognizing if you are trying to utilize things like holding your breath, counting to 10, these things that are out there on the internet to manipulate the test. And what you don't want to do is present yourself as someone who is trying to manipulate the test just because you're nervous about it. All you have to do is answer the yes or no questions truthfully, because remember, you have already admitted to all of your wrongs up until this point. There is nothing that the backgrounder isn't aware of that you have expressed in your background process, and they just want to make sure we're using this additional tool that you have been consistent, truthful, and honest. So I've taken 2 polygraphs in my process of applying to be a 911 dispatcher and lateraling to my new agency, and I'm just going to speak to my process and what it looked like for me. Both times were very similar. I show up, and I was taken into a very, very plain room. I mean, white walls, no decor, desk for the examiner, and a chair. I was hooked up to the machine. My polygrapher was nice and friendly and struck up a conversation with me prior to starting the test. They typically go through my background paperwork and some paperwork they typically ask me to fill out prior to coming in, which is just a very shorter version of your personal history statement. My polygrapher then went over the questions that they were going to ask me during the test without the machine being on. All of these questions were yes or no questions, and they asked me what my response would be. So, going in before the machines flipped on, I knew what was going to be asked of me, and all I had to do was answer yes or no and get through that part of the process. We then turned on the machine and went through those questions, typically two sets of questions, and typically went through each set twice. But again, it can be different between each polygraph. This was just my experience personally over the span of 2 polygraph tests that I've taken. The test is designed to be a little bit stressful in the sense that it's not every day you're hooked up to the machine being asked questions by a stranger in a room with no decor. So that is understandable. Those things come across the test and are expected. But again, you've told the truth throughout this entire process. All you're doing is answering some yes and no questions to things you've already disclosed on your personal history statement. So that is the polygraph portion of the application process. A little bit of online research and my personal experience is you're going to get through it. You're almost at the finish line when you've made it to the polygraph portion of the backgrounds. Hang in there just a little bit longer and know you've already told all your truths. This is just another tool that is used to make sure you're consistent, honest, and truthful throughout this entire application process. If you found the information in this video to be helpful, don't forget to like it, hit that subscribe button, and good luck throughout the rest of your process. Until next time, stay raspy, everybody.